football is not in a dome on turf. Like, that's partially football, but like you gotta be able to go in and hit somebody in the face and make it count in the cold weather. Yeah. And if you can't, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna win.
Get ready, let's go! Go hard, go home. Hard to go home. 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 They can't stop you. No, they can't. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. You wanna win? Hustle. Play a game. How it goes? Get ready, let's go. Go hard, go home. 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 They can't stop you. No, they can't stop you. No, they can't stop you. They can't stop you. No, they can't stop you. Don't let them stop you. Back against the wall, beating all the odds. Yeah, are you gonna score when it's time to ball? Overcome your fears. Never thought. How bad do you want?
And welcome to the SHAEMAC Show, first ever episode in almost a year. On this episode, I am joined by my very special guest, Miss Paige Dimakos from the Draft Network. Paige, how are you doing today?
I'm hyped up after listening to that intro, girl. Oh, you got me feeling like I'm ready to go run into a brick wall or something. I was like, damn, it's a hypey intro, girl. I like it.
Thank you very much. So we're just going to kick off this episode with, giving the audience introduction to you, what you're more about, things of that nature, overall, just your background in sports, entering the sports world.
Yeah, so, I've done a little bit of everything. I started doing this when I was in high school, which was way before social media was a thing and highlight tapes were how they were. I started doing this because my dad was a coach and my brother needed highlight tapes to send out to colleges. And so I was mixing basketball tapes and football tapes when I was in high school, and I started doing stand-ups, and I liked commentating on the game, and I liked talking to the coaches. And I liked hearing the stories, getting to know people, who they were behind the mask. That's always been probably my favorite part of this, and that continued when I went to the University of Nebraska. Started my own website when I was there in college, and catapulted me to where I am now. I've worked at every major network. I've worked at Fox, CBS, ESPN. I've covered the NFL, I've covered college, I've covered Major League Baseball, I've covered hockey, I've covered the Olympics. I've done a little bit of everything. But now since I took over the Draft Network, and honestly the last 10 years, it's been all football all day, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love both college football and the NFL. I think I'm a big Bears fan, so obviously I pay attention to everything that's going on in Chicago. But yeah, I've done just about everything in the digital media space because I came up with it. It was kind of catapulting. Timing is everything. I tell people that all the time. If you hit the right timing, things can happen for you. And for me, social media was just beginning when I was in college, and my professors didn't want to use it. They wanted to talk about newspapers, and I was like, yeah, this ain't going to be it. It's not going to be it. Nobody's waiting around to watch highlights. People used to have to wait to watch highlights on SportsCenter, right? They used to have to wait to watch highlights. When Twitter came, it totally changed the game for sports consumption. It felt like, Twitter's changed a lot. It's probably my least favorite social media platform, but it used to be my favorite because it felt like being at the sports bar with all your friends talking. And I grew up in Chicago, so I just grew up talking smack with everybody. So it was fun just being on the internet, talking about the game. And honestly, social just blew up. And I had a lot of good players that were there at the time. I worked for the team. I had great coaches. I've had great mentors. And we can get into any of it, but I've kind of done it all. But I'm happy to be where I am. I love football, and I don't anticipate leaving anytime soon.
Yeah, it's vice versa this way. People just don't understand. Like, and I got a couple of friends that always ask me, oh, well, what's the hype with football? I don't get the hype in sports, but it's like, once you go to one sporting event, or watch one sports game, especially when it's someone you root for or predict the win or whatever, you're hit.
Yeah, you're locked. And
Like,
it's honestly one of my favorite things to do. I'm actually going to be teaching a women's football class in Phoenix out here, and it's going to be like football 101. Because one of my favorite things to do, everybody always laughs because I love sports so much that they always assume that I wouldn't have been in a sorority, but I wasn't in a sorority in college. And everybody's reaction is always like, really? And I was like, at the sorority, I taught all the girls about football. Monday nights, they wanted to watch The Bachelor. I put Monday Night Football on. I was like, no, we're not doing that. And they'd all be angry at me. But I was like, it benefited them long term because they all love the game now. They're 45% of season ticket holders are women. More memorabilia is sold to women at a crazy clip. It's like 80%. And more women are playing fantasy football. More women are gambling. Females love football. And I think if you understand it, it's just men like to gatekeep football for whatever reason, which is very weird. But I'm here to teach all the ladies who love football. So anybody that wants to know, you can follow me. I'm always willing to teach and learn, and I'm always a student of the game because the game's always changing, which is one of the reasons I love it.
Yeah, it elevates. Like, since I've been a fan, I've counted at least a good 3 times it is elevated.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for example, when we speak on one of the most important positions in the league, we speak on the quarterback position, right? And I remember growing up in the early 2000s, I was the late 90s baby, where it was in pocket quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
From in pocket to backyard football like quarterbacks, mobile, and that's when they started transitioning a little to there. Now it's mobile dual threat quarterbacks. So now they want you to have the arm of an in pocket quarterback while still having the mobility of like a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's a great point because really people don't really understand the difference between the guys like a Peyton Manning that was a statue quarterback, right? And I was Team Peyton for so long, so nobody can say anything. I love Peyton. Probably the smartest football player to ever play the game. Could dissect a defense at a level that was just nasty. But as you can see by the Fanatics football that's going on right now, Tom Brady is a sociopath and wants to win more than anybody on planet Earth, right? And some of this is also just the will and the want to win, right? And football is, to me, I literally have chills because I'm such a goof, dude. But I'm talking about it because football is the ultimate team sport. It matters so much. It takes all 11 on offense, all 11 on defense, all 11 on special teams. It's not impacted like the NBA. You get one guy and everything changes. It's not how it goes. And we're learning that with these young quarterbacks. I'm a Bears fan. I told everybody, I said, listen, Caleb is special. He's got special talent. To your point, he's that perfect mix of he can make every throw on the field, but the stuff he does outside the pocket is magical. But it doesn't matter if you can't protect him. We learned that with Pat Mahomes. As special as Pat Mahomes was, Pat Mahomes didn't have a good year. Why? Because his offensive line struggled. So I think that's the part of football that I really appreciate, because in a society that's all about themselves and it's worse than it's ever been, football is all about the team. And that's something that I really, really love.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this is why they say that football is the hardest sport to win in, because obviously you can argue baseball, you can argue hockey. But football is literally like, let's see, a 33-man sport when you think about it. 11 on special team, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. You need at least an elite player in every single category of the team.
100%.
Like,
you need all 53, because that's the reality is no team's staying healthy because it's a gladiator sport. Like, it takes all 53 and then some. That's why the practice squad guys, like I always tell guys that are right on the cusp, like, man, it's all about the opportunity. Just wait. Like, you never know when you could get in there and you get a moment and you capitalize on your moment, right? And that's
what, dude.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of examples. UDFAs every year. Because obviously so much focus of our business is the draft. But I have so many conversations with young men who don't get drafted after the fact and tell them, like, listen, you in some ways you have an advantage because you get to choose where you get to go. So you get to sit there, and as long as your agent's working the phones to make sure you're going to be put in a good position, you could have 5-6 offers and you're like, hey, I'm going to go here. And it's a better situation. And that's the part of this that people forget, is that the NFL is so much about the landing spot. It's about where you land, the coaching staff, the infrastructure, the ownership team. It's everything. It takes 53, and then it takes all the front office. It takes the whole coaching staff, and it takes having a good owner, because the worst thing in the world is to have a good team and have an owner that is self-destructive like Jerry Jones. And I've had a drink with Jerry. He's an interesting man. He's done so much for the sport, and I have so much respect for him, because the NFL would not be where it was today without Jerry Jones. Period. And hard stop. Right. But he is his own worst enemy. He's his own worst enemy, because he can't hire people to do the job, and he's doing oil deals and all this other stuff, and then also trying to pick up the phone and call a general manager to make a deal. And it's like, hey, bro, it's not a part-time job. You can't do this some of the time. So yeah, that's the reason I'm romantic about football, is because it requires everyone giving their all towards a common goal, and quite frankly, society needs a little bit more of that.
Yeah, and it also, just to add on, piggyback off a little what you said, it also just adds more to, like, it's not just me show. For example, like, look at the Lakers. They, until up to this year, they were surrounding everything around LeBron James, like everything. But then, you know, you got the Chiefs, who realized, like, okay, we can't just surround everything around Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. We really got to build this team. So it's just that football is more of a complex sport, in my opinion.
100%.
It will take more than one, not only just on one side of the ball, but in multiple groups of it. Like
100%. Look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had a all-time offensive year last year with some of the, arguably, 2 of the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL. Unbelievable offense. But if you can't stop nobody, don't matter how good your offense is. Doesn't matter.
Your record's going to suck in the shows.
You didn't even make the playoffs. I mean, that's the part of the game that I respect. And because you brought up the Lakers, like, when you put all your emphasis on the 3-point game and all this, you can kind of make your way through the league in the NBA. But you get got in the NFL. Like, you had that, the Dolphins had their moment in September and October, but Colin Cowherd had one of my favorite things. He would say they're like a spray tan. They start off looking good, and they fade away. And that's exactly what they would start off looking really nice when it was September and the weather was nice. But once it got cold and it was about running the football and playing defense, all of a sudden, they don't know how to play. And that's the part of this that, you know, part of it's because I grew up in Chicago, but, like, at the end of the day, you don't have to play in the cold. You don't have to play outside. Football is not in a dome on turf. Like, that's partially football, but, like, you gotta be able to go win and hit somebody in the face and make it count in the cold weather. Yeah. And if you can't, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna win.
Right. And then this thing is, like, you got into the weather conditions, but sometimes you gotta play in the hot too.
Yeah. Damn straight.
And that can be especially with all that equipment on you. That can be like
Miami in September, nightmare. They put the guys of the opposing team is brilliant. Shout out Stephen Ross, very smart. The opposing team is always where the sun is facing, and it is, you can see, like, I always see Buffalo, and they'll be like this with fans, and they're like pouring ice down their back, because I've been to Miami this summer. That is some of the worst. Yeah, no, that's not for the faint of heart, for sure. And playing football in that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. So, flipping the script here a little bit, you spoke on, like, you love to talk about the game of football, and starting with your platform here. So you run a podcast called The Draft Hub. You also run a brand called The Draft Network. Yep. So just give us a little more of that, and how did that begin? And how do you think platforms like that enter and impacts the game today?
Yeah, it's crazy because I got brought in as a consultant in the late part of 2018 when nobody was doing a mock draft like they are now. And the Draft Network was started by a group of guys who I have to give total credit to, that they were draftniks. Like, I was in the fantasy and NFL space. I was covering a team, and I had come from kind of the traditional media, and I came with an outside perspective, but I saw the passion of all these fans, because the draft is the ultimate play on hope. And hope is a very powerful thing. And if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, there's about 1 month of the year that you have fun, and it's April when you have the draft, and you think, you know what, this could be good, right? And that's what the Draft Network really encapsulated. And in Nashville in 2019, I mean, I can remember walking down Broadway and going, oh my God. Like, I mean, there were 1 million people on the street watching people walk across the stage. And I was like, this is nuts. Like, I mean, I have chills again because it was a wild scene. And to think now, we fast forward, you know, Detroit was so crazy that they shut the city down because they couldn't let more people in. Like, literally, I was like, are we going to sink into the earth? Like, why are you not letting nobody into the city? But it was that many people. I mean, it was every year it gets bigger and badder and more important and more emphasis. And honestly, it's been incredible to watch, but it's been really cool to see how the Draft Network has forced traditional media into paying attention to the collegiate athletes way earlier than they were before. And with NIL, it's happening at an even higher clip because a lot of these guys, you know, and then they change schools and they're staying in college a little bit longer. And it's, you know, these mock drafts, I can remember we dropped a way too early mock draft in 2019. So the moment the draft ends, we always drop a mock draft for the next year, right? And it's based off of, it's way too early mock draft, right? That's the, but the point is that we dropped that and everybody clowned on us. I mean, if you read the comments, it was like, what, who would do this, blah, blah, blah. And I laugh now because literally ESPN, CBS, NBA, they all do it now. And it's become, the draft has become mainstream. And that's what the Draft Network, that's what the Draft Network did. The Draft Network, along with the crazy fans that we have that are just the best. They do more mock drafts than I knew anybody could ever do, right? They just love it. They're addicted to it. And they like playing general manager, right? They like sitting back and putting together a team. I think there's a lot of people that like the puzzle piece that is what it takes to not only win on Sundays, but all the stuff that goes into getting to that point. And that's this time of the year. That's free agency and the players you're drafting and rookie minicamp and all the steps to get you to that. And that's the best thing about football. And that's been really cool to watch the Draft Network push the industry into totally making this mainstream, where literally ESPN has a 365 day of the year show called First Draft now. Shout out to my boy Jordan Reed, who used to work at the Draft Network for me. That's my guy. Like, I love seeing that. Like, it's very cool. It's very cool. And it's great for the collegiate athletes that people get to know them before they step foot into the NFL and can already kind of have that fandom for those guys.
Yeah, and then this is the thing. Like, it's real funny that the things that always be made fun of the most is what paves the way for so many.
Yep.
Like you said, you wouldn't have this show on ESPN that is strictly contributing to the draft if it wasn't for the Draft Network that pretty much put everybody on game.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is a certain platform or specifics within a platform always starts somewhere. But it's no question that we wouldn't have what we have if it wasn't for the expansion of social media to be able to allow others to be gifted opportunities to produce things that just has not been heard before.
No, and it's been, you know, I came from the NFL, so I understood the front office and all the inner workings of. I've been in the draft room. I know what it's like, and I knew how cool my friends. They were obsessed. They wanted to know every detail about everything, and I was like, man, like, the fans want this, right? Like, they want the behind the scenes of all of this, and the reality is the NFL teams can't show you all of that because it's secretive for them. So the part of the Draft Network that's special is our process is transparent because we're not drafting an NFL team. We're just telling you what we would do and what players we think. And some of the best things that happen is I love when my guy Keith Sanchez or Jamie Eisner, one of my scouts, they go early on a player and everybody tells them they're nuts. And then we get to the Senior Bowl and everybody's like, "Ooh, Malachi Fields a first rounder." And I'm like, yeah, Keith was saying that in October. Like, you know, like, I'm like, I love standing on business for my guys. Like, they do so much work. They grind so heavy. And I have, nothing makes me happier than when a former at like Steve Smith Sr., somebody comes up to me and goes, I wouldn't be able to do draft coverage without y'all, because they're reading our scouting reports. They're using us as a resource, and that's the point. Like, we are the go-to
one, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a lot of work, man, but I have a great team, and my leader of the scouting department's the best we've ever had. Keith Sanchez is a superstar, came from LSU, like SEC, knows how to scout. I've never met, and I'd put him up against everybody in the NFL. He's a great talent evaluator. And I think that helps us when we get down to business. We go, yeah, we'll stand up against any NFL team. And we're right a lot. We're right a lot.
Right. And speaking of the NFL, obviously, and we talking about the draft right now, the NFL draft is approximately a month away. So who do you think are the top 5 at prospects that people should look out for in this draft? Because I got Carnell Tate, my guy from Ohio State, in that top 5. And it's clear as day where I want him to land. If you know, you know. But who are your top 5?
Yeah, I mean, Fernando Mendoza's a lock at 1, right? And then things get interesting. I think you've got David Bailey as an edge rusher, who is a very talented guy. You could see him go in the top 5. Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, more Ohio State guys. Caleb Downs. I mean, they got some. It's actually crazy that Ohio State didn't win a natty, considering how many like absolute freaks they have on defense. Like, I mean, top, like, to have that many dudes. Like, it's insane. Like, they got literally 3 dudes on their defense that might go top 10. That's insane. Yeah. And Carnell Tate's a stud. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver from ASU. You got Casey Concepcion. You got Kenyon Sadiq, I mean, to me, I'm drafting Jeremiah Love in the top 5, and I'm not thinking about it. Like, people with the running back stuff, yeah, okay. Call me when he is Saquon Barkley 2.0. Like, Jeremiah is everything and then some. Like, I think that's the thing with the draft that pisses me off with the NFL teams is they try to play this like value chart game, and the teams that have been winning are the teams that just draft. They go into the draft and they're not needy, right? They've got a good roster, and so when their time comes, they draft the best damn player available, and that's the best strategy. No matter what the position is, you go in there and you go, that's the best dude. That's the guy I got to take. And some of these guys, right, I think there's a lot of conversation right now, which I don't agree with, but that this class is not as good. No, this class isn't quarterback heavy, but there's a lot of talent in this draft. And I love defense. So I love how many defensive players could go in the first round. A lot of great receivers in this draft. Heavy receiver class. Really like those guys. Yeah, I mean, there's probably 7 to 10 dudes. That's what's fun about this draft is it's not, we have Fernando and then it's open. And I love that because I hate when it's like lock. Like, we know first 3 picks, just chalk them up. I'm like, nah, we know 1 pick. And then the Jets, it could just get spicy at number 2. And I'm all about it. I love it. So I think it's going to be really fun. And I think there's a lot of great players, but some of the dudes I just rattled off, I could see any of them. But those Ohio State defensive players, if I was there, yeah, any of them. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, yeah, check. I want them all. They're all great. And I like Carnell Tate. He's been working out here in Phoenix. Just great kid, super fast, can do everything on the route tree. Super, I have nothing negative to say. I watched him work out every day at Exos. He's a super dedicated, talk smack, just like the perfect embodiment of a wide receiver. Like the exact type of dude I would love to have. So I agree with you. I'd love to see him. I think he's wide receiver 1 over Jordan Tyson, but we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that scares me as a Steelers fan because I want him in Pittsburgh. I just feel like with my team, we need to go wide receiver with
I agree.
I mean, you can say what you want about the quarterback position. All you want. It's clear as day. If you've been listening to me, you know where I want to go with that. And it's not Aaron Rodgers.
I don't blame you.
Like, but speaking,
I like Will Howard personally. I think Will Howard's a dog. That's a kid who's got kind of some of that toughness that Ben had.
Thank you.
And that's that white boy swag that very few of those guys have. He's tough. He's gritty. He can command a room. Doesn't matter who's there. And all you got to do is, if you go back when Ohio State beat Tennessee, probably the best caption on an Instagram photo of all time. And that, when they whooped Tennessee's ass, oh my God, I don't think I've ever laughed harder at a caption, joking, poking fun at the South, and poking fun at and I was like, this is everything and more. Just like
Right.
the fun, like his fortitude, how he carries himself. And if you haven't watched him on the John Gruden, he did the quarterback thing last year with all those top quarterbacks. I love Will Howard. I don't even think it's close. I'm like, yeah, I'm moving right along to Will Howard. I have Mason Rudolph as my backup, and I'm on to better pastures. Like, c'est la vie, Aaron. It's been nice, but we're good to go.
Yeah, it's just time. And this is the thing about it. And I'm glad that you went that route, because I wasn't sure if I really wanted to get into that just yet. But
no, stand on it, girl. I'm with you. I love Will Howard. I don't understand what we're talking about. Like, people get afraid of the helmet, right? And they helmet scout. And it's one of my things that I cannot stand.
6th round.
Just because a player played at a certain school doesn't mean he's going to be just like the guy before him. CJ Stroud and Will Howard don't play anything like each other. They don't. Nothing like each other.
He play like Justin Fields.
Thank you.
So it's like, thank you.
It's not. Will Howard is a cerebral quarterback with a chip on his shoulder, and I will always bet on the guy who's been counted out, especially at the quarterback position. Because you know these guys, when you get to the draft, like, these guys all can make the throws. They're all, the difference between the guys who are excellent and the guys who don't make it is the little stuff. It's the mental fortitude. It's the toughness. It's the ability to go, it doesn't matter what happened. I got to get my ass up and go. Because being a quarterback is about getting hit, and getting up. And Will Howard
is a quarterback whose body can tolerate that. And Will Howard has the body. And this is 100%. What I was saying about them. They was like, but Will Howard was drafted in 6th round for a reason. That's because that was another NFL draft class that was not quarterback heavy.
I'm sorry I missed when Tom Brady got drafted, y'all.
I mean, people seem to forget that. You know what else people seem to forget? Russell Wilson was drafted in the 5th round.
Yeah.
People seem to forget Dak Prescott was drafted in the 4th. The conversation no one's ready for, Patrick Mahomes, who many will argue is the greatest quarterback of all time, was drafted the 31st overall pick in his class.
Yeah.
30 players were drafted before Patrick Mahomes.
And he sat for a year. That's the other thing people don't understand. Like,
Alex Smith.
Pat got drafted to a AFC championship roster. Okay. Literally a team that went to an AFC championship without him. And Alex Smith was a hell of a quarterback. Really damn good quarterback. And Mahomes got to be a red shirt. We wasn't sniffing playing with one of the greatest, if not the greatest, offensive play callers of all time. So I think that's the part where I go, one of the best things that ever could have happened for Will Howard is he got to sit all year. He got to sit. He got to learn. He got to be there. And if I'm a Pittsburgh fan, I'm like, that is the embodiment of a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. I don't understand any Steeler fan that don't want him to start, because I'm like, Aaron Rodgers is the opposite of a Steelers quarterback, and Will Howard is the embodiment of a Steelers quarterback. So I see that I'm speaking your language, and I'm glad we didn't. I want to be clear to everybody that's listening. We did not talk about this at all ahead of time. This just happened organically. This happened organically that we came on this Will Howard stuff, and I'm just telling you, that's the dude I bet on. I really like him. And
that's the thing. He's young. He's tough. He's mobile. He has a strong arm. Not only does he define what being a Steeler quarterback is about, he defines, in my book, what an AFC North quarterback is. Yeah, girl. Yes. And then here's the thing. He has the mobility. He has the dang arm. He has the potential. Okay, this quarterback class is not quarterback favorite. It's not. Neither was the class he was drafted out of. And it's the thing. I'm glad we're talking about late round draft picks, because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Brock Purdy a 7th round draft pick?
He was the Mr. Irreplaceable at the end. He's literally the last pick in the draft. Mr. Irrelevant. Literally. The very last pick. There's nothing.
It was drafted before Brock Purdy.
Yep. I think people need to understand, and maybe it's just because I played sports. If you didn't play sports, you may not know this, but there is one ultimate motivator for nearly every great athlete I've ever met. When someone tells you you can't do something, or somebody tells you they don't believe in you, or that is the ultimate motivator. And
Yes.
that
makes
is
you want to do it more.
makes you want to prove a point over and over and over again. And I think Will Howard is the type of kid, he's got juice. Like, I watched him at Oregon when they lost, when he wasn't situationally aware, right, with the clock. And hearing him talk after the game, I mean, I was like, I wanted to cry for him because he took that so heavy on his heart. And they had a players only meeting, okay? Right before they went into, because they lost to Michigan. And after they lost to Michigan, they had this players only meeting. And I've talked to some of the players that were in there. And I've heard some of the things that were said. And I'm just telling you, I can't imagine nobody doesn't want to run through a brick wall for Will Howard. And if you look at the postseason that he put on after that, he put on a clinic. a clinic. And they were dropping 40 burgers on everybody in that postseason, by the way. So
I'm just enjoying it.
Oh, I'm sure. If I was an Ohio State fan, I would be going bananas. I was just rooting for Will Howard because it was like, I don't like Ryan Day, and I was like, I feel like the players won in spite of him. And so I was cheering for Ohio State because I was like, yeah, they had this players only meeting, and they were like, yeah, Ryan, whatever, sit down over there and let us do our thing. And sometimes, like, people got to understand how much power the players can have when they all believe in each other. But that takes a leader up at the top, and that's Will. So, yeah, I hope he gets his opportunity because Pittsburgh, it would be a damn shame for them not to let him have the opportunity to do it. It would be a damn shame.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you there because see, here's the thing that people don't realize. Okay, this will be if we want to talk scenarios, let's talk. Okay, this would be the perfect year in the perfect situation. First of all, you gave him a wide receiving core. Thank God you can add another piece, right?
Yep.
You got a tight end core. You got an upgrade from what you had last year, even though you had a pretty decent running back core. Have a young, good, average to good offensive line.
Yep.
Obviously, they didn't play their best. They're young pups playing against the number one defense in the league.
For sure. Yeah. Facing Myles Garrett twice a year. I mean, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, and Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Before he went to Dallas. But this is the thing. And I've said this on numerous occasions. He's either going to be the guy or put you in a predicament where you're going to be able to draft your guy. So he's, starting him is a good thing. Either way, we're talking short or long term. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he's a perfect fit. And it's because I grew up, obviously, watching the Bears, and I paid a lot of attention, obviously, to the Packers. The Mike McCarthy system is perfect for Will Howard. That is absolutely, he is going to be able to run that system, run it very well, and it's what Pittsburgh needs. And Mike T is my homie. I love him. He's one of the greatest mentors, coaches of all time. But it was time for both sides to have something new and fresh. And this is an opportunity for Pittsburgh to come into the 21st century of football. And listen, if Chicago can do it, Pittsburgh can do it. Yeah?
Yes.
I never had a good quarterback in my whole damn life. Never watched offense that looked good my whole life. So if the Chicago Bears can do it, the Pittsburgh Steelers can evolve and become a more dynamic offense in the year 2026.
Exactly. And that was the thing. The offense was just so
anemic.
Was so stale.
Anemic.
Outdated and stale.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be able to adjust to a offensive league with a defensive minded coach who's just more old school. And this is what I saw in the playoffs last year. It was a coach who used to be so dominant, getting beat at his own game. Because that's pretty much what happened. Even though you won the turnover battle, you got beat at your own game because your offense just was so incompetent.
Yeah.
And you cannot have that right now in the past happy era. Now, I'm going to go on the record and say, I'm not going to say I'm not happy about the Mike McCarthy hire, but I'm not sad about it either.
Yeah.
Because I understand what he can do with a quarterback. So if Mike McCarthy, right, with everything we said about Will Howard, and Mike McCarthy doing what he's known for, why not put it to the test where you're either going to be in a predicament to have your guy or draft your guy? There's no in between.
It's put up or shut up time. Yep, it's put up or shut up time in Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I invite you to look at the years right before you got Terry Bradshaw and right before you got Ben Roethlisberger. You don't get superstar quarterbacks without bottoming out. And I know that's the part with Mike T. He was too damn good of a coach. That was never going to happen. Well, literally wouldn't happen because he is the single greatest motivator of men I've ever been around. And that includes Nick Saban. I'm talking every single person. T could make 5s, 10s. That's how good of a coach he is. But there's only so much you can do. That special teams, defense, but his downfall was his loyalty to the offensive systems and guys that were outdated. And it's hard for these guys to evolve.
And quarterbacks too.
Of course, they get set in their ways and they don't want to change. And I think this year away for Mike's going to be good for him. I think he's going to he loved a game. There's nobody when he's at the Senior Bowl, he is literally right in the middle of the O-line, D-line drills, coaching every guy. Like, he loves the game. He's going to fall in love with the game again, and he'll come back and he'll be doing his thing somewhere else next year. And I think the reality is Pittsburgh needs to figure out whether or not they got a guy, and I think they do. I really do. I would.
Vice versa.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. That's all I know.
And that's all I was saying. Like, we would never know. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee he's going to be the guy, but I'm not going to sit here and back down like he doesn't have the potential.
No, he got the talent.
What do these other quarterbacks outside of the obvious top 5? You got Burrow, you got Mahomes, you got Hurts, you got Matthew Stafford, and then you can throw Josh Allen in there or Lamar Jackson. But out of those 5 to 6 guys, what other quarterback has, and what do the other names in this league has that he doesn't?
No.
Tell us all. So every quarterback gets to have a job but him.
I'm ready for it. I'm all gas, no brakes. I hope when I'm in Pittsburgh for the draft that I get to go down to the facility and spend a little time, which I'm planning to, and that I get to figure out that Will's going to get the starting job because I don't. If they run it back with Aaron, it won't be. It will just. It's like I'm just so tired of the Aaron show. Like, Aaron, make a call, bro. Like, you gonna do it or you not? I can't stand the I need to be wanted and dined and danced this whole time. I'm like, come on, dude, you too old for this, man. Like,
right? And that's the thing. If you wasn't wanted, they wouldn't be waiting for you. But how much longer is we going to wait? Because we got a guy that not only can he potentially play, but he wants to play.
Correct. You can't go into the draft again not knowing. That's for me, it has to happen before the draft. You have to give him a deadline. You have to live and die with it. And you have to know, like, listen, at the end of the day, you got to go into the draft knowing whether or not who your starting quarterback is. So you know what you're drafting for. Because to me, I don't understand philosophically going in a direction of a 42-year-old quarterback. Like, no, Tampa Bay had the infrastructure to take Tom on. The Rams had the infrastructure to take Stafford on. Everybody's trying to do that older quarterback flip, but you got to have the roster and the infrastructure to do that. And Tom chose the Bucs for a reason. He chose the Bucs for the coaching staff, and he chose the Bucs for the roster. And that's the part of this you got to understand is, like, the Pittsburgh Steelers got holes. They gotta get better in positions, and they're doing a good job. They've done I like what they've done in free agency thus far, but I want them to go into the draft trying to get youthful and turn this roster over and start to head in a new direction.
Yeah, definitely. So reverting back to the draft here, you spoke on the Draft Network. We, try to get on the Draft Hub. So what are some things that are upcoming that we should expect from both the Draft Network and the Draft Hub?
So we are going to be hosting a 3-day event at the draft, which I'm really excited about. I haven't talked about it anywhere yet, so breaking news right here, which is exciting. I'm going to be hosting a Draft Eve event with a lot of the prospects that are going to be in town on Wednesday night down in the North Shore area in Pittsburgh. And with STK, which I'm really excited about, it should be a very fun, good way to set the tone for the week. And at the end of the day, I think probably the thing I love the most is I like to be a part of the week of the celebration, because at the end of the day, this is the celebration, the culmination of families devoting time, energy, resources to get to this goal. Moms, dads, grandpas, grannies, aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, friends who sacrifice things for these young men to get to live out their dreams. And I love being a part of that. And I love to celebrate those moments. I like to force them to have gratitude and to really be present in those moments. And my favorite interviews are always during draft week. So Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, I'll be hosting with TJ Ward, Super Bowl champ, stud. Love talking ball with him. He's an old head, and he called me a knucklehead. So we're gonna have fun. We think the same about balls, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. And he's one of the athletes, I would say one of the few athletes in the space who's doing the work. He's not just saying stuff on TV. He's doing the work. He's showing up. And I appreciate that about him. So I'm excited to host this. And then Saturday during draft day, it's my favorite day. 4 through 7, I'm going to be out amongst the fans. So if anybody's in Pittsburgh, be sure to hit me up on social, because I'll be out and about giving out T-shirts, giving out koozies, having some fun, getting to enjoy Pittsburgh. I've never been, so I'm excited. I'm excited to go. Nope, it's one of the few cities in America that I've never been to. I'm very excited to go. Very excited.
Yeah, the draft being in Pittsburgh this year. So we can actually revert to that a little bit. So the draft is in there. I'm planning to attend because I'm right here in Pittsburgh.
Good.
So I'm definitely gonna have fun with content and things like that at nature. Covering the draft, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, right?
100%.
So you coming to Pittsburgh your first time. Obviously, the NFL draft being held here the first time ever. So what will be your expectations for the 2026 NFL draft in Pittsburgh overall?
It's funny because I was literally just having a meeting with my staff about our plans for Pittsburgh. And I said, and this is not just because you're Pittsburgh, that I think this is going to be the best draft yet. Because Pittsburgh is big enough that you have the space, but small enough that it's not going to feel lost.
Right.
And like Vegas was cool, but Vegas has so much stuff going on that it's like, oh yeah, the draft's going on, whatever. Pittsburgh? No, everybody knows the draft's going on. It's a football town. That is the capital to me, Ohio, Pennsylvania. That's the region of football that is just religious, right? That's what football feels like. And I've seen the renderings of the stage. I love that they're going to be inside the stadium. I love that they're using the North Point Park, I believe is called. They're shutting down one of the bridges, and they're going to let fans walk across the bridges the whole time. I mean,
the bridge.
Yeah, the ferries are going to be taking people back and forth. I mean, Pittsburgh is very scenic, and I feel like it's going to be just the renderings. And I'm always so critical of the NFL because I always watch and see how they put everything together. And I think this year it looks like they turned this into Coachella for football fans, is what I would say. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts.
And I really can't wait because, one, obviously I'm a Steelers fan.
Of course.
But I'm looking to see in their hometown what my team is about to do in the NFL draft, because we need to make some moves. Not only do we have the cap space to, make trades or do whatever, and please do not trade players that I be seeing and hearing our fans having the audacity who want us to trade.
Some of the crazy y'all fans wild. That's a wild fan base. They be saying some stuff. I'm like, yo.
I look at them every day. Just imagine sitting next to them on Sundays or any game day.
I can't.
At least you can log off keyboard and don't have to put up with it.
Yeah.
I'm putting up with it in all phases. But
well, you're gonna have to come out. You're gonna have to come through and come see us when we're out there in Pittsburgh. Then.
Yeah, I definitely will. So before I let you go, Paige, we spoke on women in sports, and we also spoke on things like covering football and all of this. So if you were to talk to a woman or a young woman coming up who's possibly watching this episode, and you were to give them any piece of advice on what it's like to work in sports or getting into the sports industry, what would it be?
Don't let anybody talk you out of doing it. Probably the thing that bothered me the most coming up through this industry is how often I got told it's going to be so hard. It's such a grind. It's this. Yeah, it is. It is. But if you love it, you should go for your dreams. You should go for your dreams. And I think that's the part. I wish there were more people that encourage people, because at the end of the day, especially for women, it takes courage. It takes confidence. It takes a backbone. And I'm very, I was very blessed to have the father that raised me to be a person who, he told me my whole life, you deserve me in every room. Doesn't matter. You walk in that room with all those guys, you know more than they do. Like, he gave me that confidence and instilled that in me. And so I think it's my responsibility to instill that in young women. There's no reason why you can't cover this game. This game is for everybody. There are a lot of people on television, a lot of men who never played a lick of football. So don't let nobody tell you that because you didn't play the game, you can't understand it. Okay? Because this game, the thing about women is we'll do the work. We will do the work. And we're held to a higher standard. So we know we can't mess up. So I think some of my favorite people in this industry are women, because we work twice as hard to get half the accolades, and it's worth it though, because at the end of the day, the players need women in the industry. We need to be able to tell the stories. We tell it differently. We look at things differently. You have to have diverse voices for anything to be good. And I encourage more women to get into the draft space. There's not very many of us. There's a lot of people in the NFL. There's very few in the NFL draft. Come in. This is a fun space. And all I want any young woman that's listening to this is to feel encouraged. I hope people will tell you not to do it. I had my own family tell me not to do it. Now they all kiss my ass. So it's how it goes, man. Nothing better than proving people wrong. Nothing better than proving people wrong. So if it's what you want, go after and go get it. You can always literally reach out to me on Instagram. I try and respond to everybody. That's how you and I met. Yes. Literally reach out to me. I will always do my best to respond and help, especially young women. So yeah, just go get it, girls. That's my message.
Yeah, great advice for young ladies. And I really hope that those who watch this is honestly paying attention to what you're saying, because that is some bomb ass advice. Because everybody, they need to hear it. Yeah. And they need to hear it from someone who not only runs their own brand, but who's in the sports industry and being taken seriously by many, including men, because they it's so many people. Oh, you never played the game. You know how many commentators that are Emmy award winning and never played the game? They've won awards more than those who commentate and did. So
girl, all 32 teams, and this is a flex, and it's meant to be. Right. All 32 teams ask me for my opinions on the players that I talk to. All 32. Right. So don't ever let nobody tell you that you can't do it. I didn't play the game. I played it in my backyard though, and I guarantee you I know what coverage. That anytime somebody's in, I can identify what's happening, the route, the coverage before any dude in the bar. So
what a 3-4 defense.
Exactly. I'm like, come on, boys, get out of here, right? They lose their minds. So just because you didn't play the game doesn't mean you can't love it. I always encourage women. This is the greatest sport in the world. I hope more women get into the draft space, and I hope you reach out to me if you want to get into it.
I want in. I ain't gonna lie. I did say, like, many drafts, I was like, I want in the next NFL draft. And then when I found out it was in Pittsburgh, I was getting ready to travel this year. I really was.
It's your opportunity, girl. It's your opportunity.
It was in Pittsburgh. Oh, no. I want in. I want in.
You gotta do it. Gotta do it.
All right, Paige. I'm gonna let you go, but first thing first, I would just love to thank you for joining. This has been a bomb-ass episode. If you guys have not followed her already, please follow her at the sports page. Correct me, I'm gonna do that again. It's at the _sports page on Instagram, and please give the Draft Club and the Draft Network a follow as well, as she will be the one providing you with all things football, NFL, and NCAA college football coverage. All right. Anything you would like to say, Paige, before we log off?
No, I'm good, girl. I mean, go Bears, baby. That's all I got. Bear down.
All right. Thank you for
Thank
all
you,
for
girl.
tuning in. And this has been the SHAEMAC Show.
I bet you want it. Can you feel it in your veins? Blood, sweat, and tears. You get stronger from the pain. Can you handle the pressure when they calling out your name? 10 seconds on the clock. Shoot your shot, make it rain. See the look in my eyes? I'm in the zone. Call it out. Put the gloves on. We could get it on. Knock you out of a lion. Stronger than I am. I am not afraid to step in the fire. Block all the hate like a goalie. Keep shining bright like a roll. You ready? Let's go. You wanna win? Hustle. Play a game. How it goes? Get ready, let's go. Go harder, go home. 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 They can't stop you. No, they can't stop you. No, they can't stop you. They can't stop you. No, they can't stop you. Don't let them stop you. Back against the wall, beating all the odds.